Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on. Oh, oh, wait. You know what? I forgot to turn on my thing. Give me 1 second. Much better. Okay, I can actually hear myself. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. I'm gonna join a party real quick. So, I should have had this ready before I started. Okay, here we go. So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my Call of Duty, my live Call of Duty World War II review. And I'm gonna jump into a little bit of multiplayer as I talk. So, Call of Duty World War II just released. It's been out for a week, and I've played most of what the game has to offer. And I haven't prestiged yet. I'm not that great of a Call of Duty player. I play a lot of Overwatch, but as in the Twitch shooters and such, I haven't really gotten much of a I don't really have much of a handle on it, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not really all of that great at Call of Duty, but I do like the aspect of it, and I do like the fact that this title is heading back to its roots with World War II, the newest installment made by Sledgehammer Games. And for a Call of Duty game, it is probably one of the most solid Call of Duty games I have played. Hopefully, my beta gameplay actually got flagged for copyright, but I set up a claim and such, and hopefully that will prevail. You can see my logo over here. Real quick, I'll show you my logo. The Overwatch logo right there. I had to fix it a little bit. As you can see, it's a little bit off over on the orange circle. Oh, hold on, let me turn off my internet on my phone real quick, because that likes to interfere with my stream. And my blade just dropped out of my pants behind me. Okay, I am off topic. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the key points, the main aspect of the game, how the interest and basically the interesting parts of it, what's good, what's not, and we'll go from there. So first things first, positive I do really like, and it's the I do really like in the main, it's the main aspect of the game. I don't know if it was the most worked on, but it's got that esque, it's got that Saving Ryan, Private Ryan-esque feel to it. Named the campaign, it it has you following a soldier named Red Daniels throughout throughout the European front, as you go and essentially take back Germany one step at a time through these different missions and such. And it's a good story, you know. I do feel like some characters are just really one note, as per se, your sergeant. I want to say. I cannot even remember what his name was, but he is essentially what I do remember him from is he's the dude from the Transformers movies as the soldier, I believe. The main one, the one with the leader of the soldiers and all that stuff. He's the one who runs the Spec Ops teams, and he was the one in Afghanistan and such, fighting the Scorpion and such things. Um, Another positive, oh, well, no. Let's keep going with the campaign. Campaign ran about from 5 to 6 hours for me. It took me a couple days to complete because I do work, and I didn't have much time to play it when I first got it. I had time to play for an hour. Missions are pretty lengthy. Some of the missions keep it really interesting, but some just stay the same. Such as some missions are pretty like similar in some objectives. Storm the forest. That was a couple things. Oh, you can get up here. I didn't even know you can get up here. Parkour. Um, some aspects, stayed the same. Storm this, storm that, kill everybody, clear a room, pretty much done. Things like that. It's the same campaign formula you've seen, except we're back in old times. I mean, the World War II aspect. It's your old average Call of Duty campaign. Things haven't really mm, changed all that much, except the fact that there are no jetpacks and there are no futuristic spaceships and such. I will say that the most innovation that they've added in this game is the fact that you do get to drive a tank, which was featured in Call of Duty World at War at a point, which was a pretty cool feature, but it was only for one mission, as in World at War, it had more than one mission, and I think that was a cool aspect, but it was shortly lived after, um, with pretty much linear, pretty much linear pathways, when driving the tank and such. Cool set pieces and such, but it's very very short. Took me not much time to beat. Um, the bosses and such, which were other tanks, panzers, and tigers and such, were very very easy to beat. And it only took me and they tried to spice it up, tried to add a little bit of a difficulty spike, but in all, I prevailed with no problem because it is a campaign and they do want you to progress in it, and they do want you to beat it. So essentially, yeah, that did have to happen. And essentially, it was a pretty simple and straightforward way to beat these tanks, and it was just pretty much flank them. But you could easily cheese it and just completely circle around this building until like you caught up to its back and fire at it, and you would reload pretty quickly. So it's a pretty easy way to win. Other than that, innovation in the campaign also involves a blast to the past, and actually, I cannot remember if this was Medal of Honor or if this was Call of Duty. Mine, if you wanna like say something about that, it's up to you. But back then, I do remember that it was either Medal of Honor or Call of Duty. I can't remember, but there was a mission where you had to board either it was a boat, but I remember there was another mission where it was in a party or something like that, and you just had to show your papers and all that stuff and be pretty stealthy and look like a Nazi and such, infiltrating the Nazi headquarters and stealing intelligence. They had a mission like that, and it was actually really interesting for me. Didn't last too long. Again, huge set pieces and all that stuff, because right as you finish that area, just went back to Red Daniels as running and gunning and such. Um, you know, as a matter of fact, it didn't stray much from Red Daniels as I kind of wanted to. With the older games and the Call of Duty games, I don't know if you remember them, but they used to essentially traverse between different storylines. One big example of this was Call of Duty World at War, which, uh, which if you don't know, playing as the Americans, you were on the Pacific Front, while playing as the Russians on the Eastern Front, which was awesome. Battle of Stalingrad and all that stuff. You never actually did the Battle of Stalingrad, but you got to see the aftermath and such. You got to see a gory aftermath of it. And this game, does set pieces very well. It does the Battle of the Bulge and Normandy, that D-Day. Does those set pieces very well. Even though it's very very short, it's not as big as it is in it's not really as big and immersive as it was in the first. I think it's the first game or second game. It's not as big as immersive as the first or second game, but it did look gorgeous. Another thing to bring up. I also noticed that some of the cutscenes, the rendered cutscenes, did not look as good as the actual gameplay itself. The gameplay that you are seeing right now, it did not look as good. It did not look as clean. It looked a lot really really pixely, and this is all being captured on PlayStation 4 Pro, and it kind of disappointed me on how kind of little mediocre these cutscenes looked and such. It just didn't look rendered all the way, and I could notice the pixels on my monitor, and it wasn't the best sight to see. Other than that, the game looks surprisingly well, surprisingly beautiful, and wouldn't expect less from a Call of Duty game. You know, back in 2017, I would have to commend Sledgehammer Games for that. You know, they did a good campaign. You know, it's completely by the numbers. You know, set pieces here and there. You know, things explode, and you go and you kill every Nazi in sight, or kill every bad guy. However you want to say that, it's up to you. But essentially, the campaign was a very solid feature. Um, Again, didn't have the huge ad like the huge didn't have the huge sorry if I tread off a lot, but it didn't have the it wasn't up to my expectations, you know. Such I thought I was gonna have, you know, I was expecting the Battle of Stalingrad and all that stuff, but I guess we'll have to save that for a different game. Or, you know, maybe we'll traverse back to Vietnam or such in the next game or something like that. Because I know Call of Duty isn't done with history yet. And, you know, since the, since the fans, I'm so sorry, I'm losing track here. Since the fans have stated that they wanted a classic World War II game, wanted classic games back in their, you know, libraries and such. And I feel like that's what Activision is going to give them from there and then on out until we get sick of it. But sick a little too late. Um, as stating with Infinite Warfare, which we were pretty much to the point of, you know, give us something, you know, refreshing. And this is exactly what this is, you know. But I feel like it was a little too late for people. A lot of people were waiting for, you know, mm, a lot of people were waiting for this game, you know, sooner instead of, you know, what we got with Infinite Warfare. But, you know, this game really does justice to the World War II, even though it's not up to my expectations, and I'm going around in circles essentially. So, campaign was good. It wasn't great, it wasn't amazing, but it was good. Good story, but had a good story, had a twist ending, but same thing, same Call of Duty recipe. So, on to multiplayer. Um, Not much to say about multiplayer, but except that as it's the same as pretty much any other Call of Duty multiplayer you played. If you went back to Black Ops 2, essentially, you would feel right at home here. Nothing special about it. New guns, new score streaks, loot boxes, and headquarters mode, as I am standing in right now. As you can see, this is headquarters mode. See all that back there? You can't go back there. You can only stay in this area. As you can see, I've been running around it for a little bit. Headquarters mode, I guess this is a place where you can just chillax with your friends and all that stuff. You know, go to the gunsmith. Even though some features are not available yet, as you can see, that will be available in the post-launch content, unfortunately. And I don't even know why it's there. R&R, essentially. Get to play old Activision games and all this stuff. There's the old Activision Easter egg instead of playing Nuketown and all that stuff and shooting all the heads off the mannequins to play old games. Here you got your store streaks thing. I'm not going to go in there because it actually takes a different loading screen. And basically what you do in there is you test all the score streaks out, see which ones you like, see which ones you want to equip. Zombies is right in that bunker down there. If you want to go directly to zombies, you can from the headquarters. Seeing the general, you know what? I actually don't know what he does yet. I haven't even tried to talk to the general. Let me actually try to talk to the general for you guys. I don't know. I don't even know if I can get up there. Let me do that for you guys real quick because I don't even know what he does. Can I get up there? Oh, you know what? The general requires prestige. Yeah, I have to be prestige and I'm not prestige yet. I forgot about that. Got the quartermaster. The quartermaster is essentially you buy these cards. The cards can also be earned in loot boxes and such. It's essentially you can't earn that. I think you can. I'm not sure. But you can essentially earn these different types of weapon skins and all that stuff, which are completely cosmetic, mind you, and I love that. They're completely cosmetic, and you earn them through loot boxes. And you know these loot boxes do nothing other than cosmetic changes and such. They don't give you advantages except in XP boosts. That's the only thing. Some weapons will give you a 10% XP boost, like my MK, I forgot what it was called, I'm so sorry. It's called the Empire, a Type 100, and essentially what it does is it gives you a 10% soldier XP boost. So that's kind of why I have it equipped right now. It was something I got out of an Epic loot box. Same thing with my gear right here. As you can see, this is a British infantry uniform. It's nothing special and such, you know. They didn't want to go all out and outrageous with this game, and I understand that. I feel like the most outrageousness it's gonna get is in the weapons. You know, as in World War II, you never saw anybody really wear anything outrageous and such. So, you know, I guess they're trying to keep it safe, but, you know, who knows? You know, melee weapons were added in the end of Black Ops 3, which was like a crowbar and a boxing glove and a giant ninja sword and such. So we'll have to see. Emblem creator is down there. There's the theater over there, which you can watch the Call of Duty MLG championship, I believe what it is. And you can watch that in there. You can watch different videos and such. Let me see if I can, you know, try to. It is a block scene, so you guys can't see it, but you can watch the things for you can watch the trailer for the season pass, things like that. I mind you that I did not buy the season pass though, because I did not want it. I'm a little bit skeptical about the season pass. I have to see the content first before I do. The only I used to buy season passes for this game, but the reason I stopped is because the content got kind of lazy for me. Um, in regards to Black Ops 3, which I bought the season pass for that one, but I was completely disappointed with the content. I did not like the content whatsoever. And for this game, it's no different. They're trying to shove the season pass through you, always having the headquarters available mail thing with the Keratin bonus map, which is apparently a map that was featured in Call of Duty 2 that they have remastered and made it look pretty and such, and you get it when you get the season pass. So sorry, down here's the firing range. I do agree that the transition is very smooth from going third person to first person in here. I do like that. It's a cool little feature. Go down and test your weapon and such, you know. It's a fun little feature and such. I do say that the guns are a little bit smoother here. I really like the weapon play and such for multiplayer, and you know, some guns feel the same and such, but you know, this gun, you know, I like it. More so which because it's based off the original Stormtrooper weapon, but you know, I still like this gun. I like the way some of the guns feel and such, you know. And plus, I love World War II weapons, and I love how they feel. Yep, this is back from I showed it earlier, but this is back from, I believe, Modern Warfare did this, you know, with the whole viewing weapons and all that stuff, and it was kind of cool that they did this. It was kind of funny for me. Yeah, so that's there. There's also emotes are back, but in a different way. You can also emote in the top 3 if you wanted to. So, you know, I have different emotes. Yeah, that's an epic emote right there. That's a rare emote right there. What's this? That's a common, uncommon emote, and this is like the epic one. You know, as you can see, their content isn't too like out there. It's different, but you know, it's not something I would go crazy over trying to hunt. The thing I would try to hunt for and such and look for is the weapons in the loot boxes, or the weapon variants, what I'd like to say. She said, I know, right? Other than that, multiplayer is solid. There are returning game modes, as well as a new game mode. Let me go to public page. Let me show you. So feature Keratin 24/7. If you own the season pass, you are allowed to play this mode. But our standard game modes are Team Deathmatch, War, which is a very new game mode, which I will talk about in a second. Domination, Search and Destroy, Kill Confirm, Gridiron, which is essentially kind of like Griffball, something like that. Throwing around a volleyball and all that stuff, things like that. Free for all, you know what that is. Hardpoint also, and Capture the Flag. The new defining game mode though is War, and unfortunately, it takes a toll with it being the same as Star Wars Battlefront, with it only having one less, actually three maps that you can only play this mode on, and it upsets me. I don't. I like the way War was featured, and I like the way how War played when I played the beta, and unfortunately, three maps just isn't enough, and three maps will not keep me coming, keep me coming back, essentially. I like the aspect of War, and I like how it played, and I liked how it was objective based, and it made me feel like a co-op campaign against other players and all that stuff. I love the aspect, but the fact that they only made three maps for it really disappoints me. Three maps, including the one that I played in the beta. So I had already played one of the two that I made already. I will say though, they did a good job with these. The three maps that were made was the one that you saw in the beta, which is the one where we were escorting the tank and such. Another one is where the Germans have to it's mainly tank escorting. The second one is in snow in a forest, which is one of the set pieces in the campaign, and essentially you have to escort as the Germans a tank, three tanks down a lane, and you have to get two through. And it's an interesting one, and as the Allies have to defend certain points in order to blow up a bridge so the Germans cannot make their advance. There's even one point where the Germans tanks run out of fuel and you have to steal fuel. It's a cool little thing, the second one, but the third one is probably my most favorite, and I don't know why. I played it with my cousin the other day and he doesn't like it, but I think it's one of my most favorites, and that's it basically recreates D-Day. And essentially you come out the boat, you run in, and the Germans are set up, which are other players, mind you, with MG42s and such set up, and you have to storm the beach. And there are different ways to storm the beach too, which I also love. You could build the ladder on the way right side or things like that. It's really cool. It was a really cool aspect of the game, and I really like that they took time on these. But I hate that there was just too short of them, and I just don't. And I have to give credit where credit's due, but I wish there was a little more variety in this. So, I guess, and it'd be kind of cool if I could just play like a little yeah, like a custom match where I won't have to where I won't have to really focus too much. Let me just do 5-5, and play a little gameplay. Unlimited time. Let's go 150 points. Let's go. Announcer enabled. So they're really trying to get the MLG thing going and tournaments going. It's a suicide penalty, not really. Health and damage. Okay, let's play that. Okay, so anyway, still talking about the multiplayer. Other than that, other modes are pretty basic. There was a total of, I believe, 14 maps for you to play on. Each map, signifies different battles and different set pieces of the World War II era and such. And on the Eastern Front, as well as the Pacific Front, which I was surprised to. And the Pacific Front really stretches it, because there's even one map where you play on the USS Texas, which is a battleship, which was really interesting, actually. But other than that, multiplayer's solid. Sorry if I say a lot. I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing and such. Let me think real quick, because I play a little bit for you. Selection required, really. I thought I'm just gonna play with the WW2.
Time to show what you're made of.
Hold on. I'm gonna turn it down real quick. I'm gonna switch the party settings here. I'm gonna adjust my microphone level real quick. No, sorry. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I want to adjust my audio mix so that my party audio is louder and so that you guys can hear me better. Okay, here we go. It's still pretty loud, but I think you guys will be okay. So, essentially, let me think real quick, and if there's anything I've forgotten. As you can tell, the maps look pretty gorgeous. Very small, but very, very detailed, such as Call of Duty seems to put in their maps and such. Mud, you know, dirt, you can see the dirt, a lot of plane crashes, a lot of, you know, I'm going to use set pieces a lot because that's essentially what they're called. You know, things are just looking good. I don't know where the enemies are, and that was an explosion. Dead guy. Do like, oh, another feature, I do like the fact that the limbs do blow off this time. I like that feature. It was a cool feature back then in World War II, the fact that they, that it was just, I like the hardcore feeling of, you know, limbs blowing off and getting set on fire. You get those blood curdling screams and such, you know. And it was something I really, really liked back then. And I do like that they featured it now, and then they didn't really hold back. That was my bad. I'm trying to talk and do this at the same time. So I guess there's one gripe that really, really bothers me though is that the inclusion of women. It's not that big of a deal for me, but at the same time, it's not as historically accurate. And I understand that they're trying to be very. I understand that they're trying to be diverse, and that's cool, but you know, it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right for a set piece like this, in a game like this. I mean, cool. I mean, they can do it. I mean, it doesn't really bother me all that much. You know, I just kind of have a little nudge in the back of my head saying that, you know, it's not historically accurate in such cases. And it's not, but you know, if that's what they wanted to do, that's what they wanted to do. And I say, let bygones be bygones, and why not? It's just sitting there in the back of my head, and I had to address it. But let's just let it roll out and such. You know, when we get characters to play in there, you know, women get to play as women in this game. You know, they should be happy because they can. Other than that, I do like. Oh my gosh. Man, I honestly should have written it down. I honestly shouldn't have written it down. I'm completely conducting, improvised speech here, so I'm sorry. Okay, I guess we'll just, you know, if I forget it, if I remember anything, I'll head back to it. But let's talk about the zombies mode, and that's where I'd have to say the weakest of the game is. I'd have to say where that's the weak. I'd have to say that's the weakest point of the game. Why? It's oversaturated. Zombies is completely oversaturated at this point. It's not a necessity, but people do like it, and the fact that you can shoot zombies. I will say that this game actually takes a good horror aspect, and it has gotten me a couple times, and you know, they actually did well with it, with the jump scares and such. And the fact that they're not like meant to scare you. Well, no. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Let me do that again. I'm talking out of my my think, my do not think. So they are scary. They are scary, but they get you in a way that's not, you know, telegraphed and all. It's more of like you turn and it doesn't pop. It's already there. But when you see it. Okay, so it's weird. It's kind of hard to explain. So when you see a zombie and it's already in your sight, you don't get jump scared. But when you turn and there's a zombie behind you, it tries to jump scare you there. That's what it tries to do. And it's the weirdest thing because it actually gets you sometimes. It's essentially like jump scaring you, but it's not, because the zombie's already in play. The zombie's already in the game. But it's walking towards you, but it wants you to look at it before it does that. It's more of a sound cue thing that kind of gets you in the zombie. The zombies are like more terrifying than usual. They don't have the glowing eyes. They have the more realistic 28 days later look with the white eyes and such, and infected peeling skin. You know, they're not, you know, they're dead, essentially. Like, they're zombified, you know, Nazis, pretty much. It's the, that's probably like the biggest point to make about it, you know, the biggest pro about it. Other than that, the characters, the cast, I don't really know who they are. I really like that Sledgehammer, you know, Sledgehammer got a good cast in the last game is what kept, I didn't buy the season pass, but it's what kept me interested in the first iteration of,
MOG electric plug, MOG wavy dash.
What? Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta look at that. That was weird. Huh, I never really seen anybody to watch this, honestly. What the hell? I'm gonna look at that real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. Give me a quick second. What the heck? Viral's TV. ISS time lapse. What the heck? Sorry guys, I'm looking at this guy's content. It's weird. It's like people boarding a train. What the heck? This is weird. Plug wavy line. Plug wavy line. I don't get it. Plug wavy line. I don't know. Anyway.
Artillery ready for orders. Waiting
I
coordinates.
like the feel of the M1911 though. Ah, nice gun. It's a really cool gun. Slick. So where was I? Yeah, the zombies. That'd probably have to be the big set piece of it. As in the characters, what made me buy the first DLC pack is the fact that it had a good cast of characters and such. Okay, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but shit, I have to look it up. I remember what they look like, and I remember what they're in. One of them was like Shane in The Walking Dead. Another one was like Bill Paxton. I remember Bill Paxton. There was another one, and there was the chick. I forgot what they were named. Call of Duty. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Zombies cast. So it was John Malkovich. It was John Malkovich, Bill Paxton, Rose McGowan, and John Berthel. And I really like what they're doing, and I really like, you know, their media and such. Rose McGowan not so much because I don't really know what she does much. But John Berthel, you know, I like him as I'm sorry, I have the hiccups now. I really like him as the Punisher, and as, you know, he was for the first 2 seasons Shane in The Walking Dead. You know, that's how everybody knows him. Bill Paxton, obviously Aliens, Game Over Man, Game Over, things like that. You know, I really like the cast of the characters in it. And then I don't know who these new guys are, but you know, I don't feel like there's AAAs, you know, the cast they got for the first one. But I really heard the story was lackluster anyway. That's why I never continued with it. Other than that, you know, zombies, other than this horror aspect it has, horror aspect of it, it's really got nothing else going for it, you know. It shouldn't be skipped. I mean, I've already seen that the Easter egg has been mostly completed and such, you know, that there's a casual way of completing it, that there's a completely hardcore way of completing it. And it really, and it's up to your choosing and such, but you know, it really does.
Recon aircraft ready for mission.
The Easter eggs for zombies never really struck me as something I should do in my time. You know, I never really thought, you know, hey, I'm gonna do the Easter egg. It never interested me. That's what I was trying to say. Essentially. And you know, if you like the Easter eggs, then good on you. You know, if this is a good and complex one, you know, I tried it. But they really do kind of like it's complex, but they really do spoon feed it to you at some points. You know, it was like, hey, you need to turn on the valves. Well, how do I turn on the valves? Oh, look at the wires and the generators. Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, that's not bad. You know, I could have figured that out if I wanted to, and I'm pretty sure that's how they figured it out. Pretty sure some of the developers actually leak it at some points and such. But, nonetheless, I never finished it, but, you know, because I died and I'm not that great at zombies. But, you know, it's still good. It's still solid zombies, essentially. So, I mean, if you want to do that, if you want to do zombies and all this stuff, that's all you. If you want to pick it up because of zombies, you know, it's not the best zombies alliteration. I really think that Black Ops 1 had the best zombies maps, you know, because they were about survival and they weren't really about completing an objective and such, you know, beating the game, as, you know, zombies are now. But, you know, if that's you and you like to beat the zombie modes, then, hey, go for it. You know, I personally like the survival and all that stuff, how it was, you know. The horror aspect definitely adds a new aspect to the game and such, but like I said, if it's your cup of tea, go for it. As reviewing World War II as a game in whole, campaign is solid. You know, similar to Call of Duty set pieces, reminded me of an older Call of Duty game and such. You know, it doesn't really change up the formula too much. Besides the fact that I just remembered the fact that there is now no more regenerating health, and you are relying on your squads, kind of like it kind of reminded me of Bad Company 2, in a way, and that was kind of cool about it. But the thing is, like, by the end of it, it won't be really all that useful if, you know, you never really use the mortar strikes, because sometimes you'll be indoors and such and it won't work. And other things will be like the you know, the health pack is always good to have, but then you lose Zestman after a while in the campaign anyway, so you don't really have that med pack anymore. There's the binoculars that are kind of useful from your sergeant, but you know, it's always good to use that when there's a smoke screen and all that stuff. You get a little bit of an aimbot going there because every enemy is white outline, things like that. Ooh,
Firing battery 1. Target position confirmed.
I really do like the animations for different guns though. That's another thing too. I really like how much time they put into the animations of different guns and such. You know, such as the shotgun, I really like how they modeled this trench gun and how, like, you unload the shotgun shells to load the incendiary shells. I'm not sure if that was a thing back then. You know, they tried to find something to add for the expeditionary class. I think that's what they're called. But you know, it's so cool to add. I really like it. It's a cool little thing to add. Anyway, multiplayer, you know, it hasn't changed. Same formula. Same exact formula. You know, if you like Call of Duty, you like running, gunning, and all that stuff, and you like twitch shooters and such, this is the game for you. If you like the fact that the game hasn't changed ever since, you know, back then in like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, then this is the game for you. It's World War II. That's pretty much the big gist of it. Kind of the big thing this year. So, you know, go nuts. If you like this kind of game, if you were looking for something to jump back into, if you wanted, if you were like, hey, you know, this could be my Call of Duty. It's refreshing, I will give you that, but it's not for everybody. You know, yeah, some people will probably lose their interest real quick in it. It's up to people. It's up to you guys. You know, your taste in Call of Duty games. If you think this is right for you, go ahead, jump into it. But I won't recommend it to people because some people will be like, oh, maybe this will be the Call of Duty that gets me back into it. I surely will say that, you know, the only reason I jump back into it is because it is World War II, and I did love the World War II games. Probably like my favorite cliques of the Call of Duty genre and the first-person shooter genre. It's the WW2. Only reason to jump back into it. And as for zombies, that's up to you. That's up to you too. It's all about the fact that do you like to complete stories and all that stuff. You know, if you like to shoot zombies, you know, if you're looking for something else to play that zombies aspect and it's new, you know, this game looks good. You know, it uses the pro features as well. Unlike it uses the pro feature. It essentially uses its graphics to its advantage. 60 frames per second at 1080, I believe, for both consoles. And I believe the Xbox One X is going to have 4K, supposedly, but I don't know. Yeah, I won.
You carried the day. Nice work, soldier.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, and this is implemented. Play the games, of course. I was kind of just like interested in, like, I haven't actually figured out how this works in such a way. I don't really know how it works, how you actually get to play the game, but it never really says. My cousin was telling me it depends on like the headshots you get and such, so I'll take his word for it and say that, you know, it's based more on headshots and such, and how many kills you get in a certain amount of time. But other than that, you know, it's a solid game. It's a solid Call of Duty game. It's not out there. It's not no more space and aliens and all that stuff. It's a simple World War II Call of Duty game with the zombies mode. Think of it as a Call of Duty World at War without the Pacific Front. So as anyway, I don't rate games, but if I were to rate this one on a, let's see, on a 1 out of 5 scale, I would give this a 3. No, no. I give this a 4. Just in the aspect just in the fact that it is a World War II game and it is what I've been kind of asking for a while, and the fact that I do like the Call of Duty game. It is a solid Call of Duty game, and I'm not going. The only thing is, I'm not going to recommend it to you. You know, this is for basically people who have been in the genre for years and all that stuff, and you know, picking up the next Call of Duty. If it interests you, if it piques your interest and such, you know, watch other reviews. If you're watching my review now, you know, I'm not gonna tell you to pick it up, but I'm telling you the pros and cons that what you should be aware of what you're buying, essentially. You know, I thought when I saw the trailers and all that stuff, it was completely different from what I saw in the actual game and such. You know, the fact that the story was so plain and such. You know, it wasn't breathtaking and all that stuff. It was the set pieces and all that stuff. The only thing that I thought they did really, really well was the cool but short D-Day beach storm. But other than that, you know, it's up to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry about my rant if I went on too long and such. Um, you know, if there's things I could do better, please comment down, unlike Mr. Electric Plug just did. You know, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share if you did like this content, and more content will come soon. I promise that. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.